My name is Kimberly and I work as an Intelligence Analyst. As an IA, I am responsible for all violent crimes against children's threats and human trafficking threats. As an Intelligence Analyst, I am responsible for taking key pieces of information from the case agent and creating a big picture, identifying the key subjects, where they live, what they do on their daily lives, and how it pertains to the case. And I also create maps for them to use for their search warrants in order to identify best routes and ways to get to the locations, and just an overview image of where they're going so they're not going in blindly. Some other things I'm responsible for are creating completed products from the raw data from basic financial records or any other type of data that we can find. Social media comes into play with this one, and creating big picture items. So a picture paints 1,000 words. If you post something on social media, then my job is to attempt to try to locate you based on what is in the background of the actual image, to corroborate where you said you were compared to where they actually were. This is key in some cases in proving and disproving if they were at the bank or the jewelry store or the actual crime scene. Our job is so critical in also helping prove and ensure that we are targeting the right subjects, because just having a simple name you can't go off of anymore. You have to identify all aspects of their lives to ensure you are actually targeting the correct individual who actually did the crime. There are also times as an intelligence analyst you may be called to the stand as an expert witness on one of the agent's cases based on a product you created or a map. Some of the stressors or the stress level for an IA is typically fairly low. We spend our days working side by side with the agents, but we don't actually get called as often as they do on the weekends or nights. There are times we can. If a child goes missing, you could spend 5 days trying to search for the child and trying to support not only the FBI but all the other agencies involved. Some of the highest stressors for an analyst, especially when you're in a small office, we cover such a large geographic area. We cover 40 counties. And so the agents that I support are across the entire 40 counties, and it makes it very difficult to give them quality support at times when they're not sitting here right next to you. A typical work week for an intelligence analyst is 40 hours. If you end up going over, you end up claiming it as comp time or overtime pay. In order to become an intelligence analyst for the FBI, you do have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree. There's no specific degree programs that they recommend. However, I recommend you diversify yourself as much as you can. Take some psychology classes, behavioral analysis classes, financial classes. There's so many different threats that the FBI covers that these classes will help you be able to support those kinds of cases more efficiently. Some other skills I would recommend are writing and critical thinking. These are some things that you'll be evaluated on during the application process. You will actually have to write a paper, and it will be graded by senior intelligence analyst, and they will evaluate your writing skills. So anything that you can do in order to practice writing and critical thinking, I recommend for you. Some best parts of the job are being able to work side by side with the special agents, from case openings to actually the sentencing of the suspects. Some of the benefits of it is just being able to see the case in its entirety from start to finish, and being able to actually put the key pieces of information and intelligence together in order to actually identify the individual or individuals that were involved with it. The worst part of the job is As an intelligence analyst, you are not a sworn officer, so you do not get to carry a gun. You do not get to be a part of the busting down of the doors, and sometimes you can help with the search warrants and sometimes you can help with interviews. However, it's very limited compared to as a special agent. And then I would say the absolute worst part is when you are working a missing child and they end up being found dead and you couldn't rescue them. My final advice is if you can get into an internship position within the FBI during your junior and senior year in college, that is a way to help ensure you get on full time after you graduate. Some things to be careful of is social media. You have got to be careful with what you post on social media. It is viewed by all. You can never take it down. And as an analyst, I go searching through the social media to figure out who individuals are because it gives you a glimpse of their lives. So be careful with what you post, especially photographs.